United States Space Force, History, Present, and Future. Introduction. The United States Space Force USSF was established on December 20, 2019, marking a significant milestone as the first new military branch since the establishment of the Air Force in 1947. The creation of the Space Force reflects the growing recognition of outer space as a critical domain for national security, particularly amid increasing military capabilities from global competitors like Russia and China. This report examines the history, current status, and future prospects of the USSF. Historical context. Early developments in military space operations. The origins of the USSF can be traced back to the aftermath of World War II, when the U.S. military began to recognize the importance of space technology. Key developments include 1945, the end of World War II spurred interest in advanced technologies, including those related to space. 1958, the U.S. launched its first satellite, Explorer 1, which initiated military space activities. 1982, the Air Force established the Air Force Space Command AFSPC, formalizing military oversight of space operations. 1985, the United States Space Command USSFCOM was created to unify space operations across the military services. The Cold War and space militarization. Throughout the Cold War, space capabilities became increasingly intertwined with military operations. The Gulf War in the early 1990s demonstrated the strategic importance of space-based assets in modern warfare. The operation relied heavily on satellite communications, navigation, and reconnaissance, leading to the term, the First Space War. The push for a dedicated space force. By the late 1990s and 2000s, there were calls from various military leaders and lawmakers for a dedicated space force. The 2001 Rumsfeld Commission emphasized the need for a cohesive strategy to protect U.S. interests in space, citing the potential threat of its space Pearl Harbor. Establishment of the Space Force. In 2017, discussions to establish a separate Space Force gained momentum, particularly in response to advancements in Russian and Chinese military space capabilities. On December 20, 2019, the National Defense Authorization Act was signed into law, officially creating the USSF. Current structure and functions. Organization. The USSF operates under the Department of the Air Force alongside the Air Force itself. Its leadership structure includes Chief of Space Operations, the highest ranking officer in the USSF. Field Commands. The Space Force is organized into several field commands responsible for various aspects of space operations, including the Space Operations Command SPOC, Space Systems Command SSC, and Space Training and Readiness Command STARCOM. Core missions. The USSF has outlined its core missions as follows. 1. Space superiority, ensuring dominance in the space domain, protecting U.S. space assets and deterring adversaries. 2. Global mission operations, facilitating military operations across multiple domains including land, air, and sea, through space-based capabilities. 3. Assured space access, ensuring the ability to launch and operate in space continuously. Personnel and culture. Members of the USSF are referred to as guardians, a title reflecting their role in protecting U.S. interests in space. The Space Force has adopted Semper Supra, meaning always above, as its official motto. Future prospects. Strategic goals. The future of the USSF is focused on several strategic goals. Integration and collaboration. The Space Force aims to consolidate space operations and capabilities across all branches of the U.S. military, enhancing coordination and efficiency. Technological advancements. Ongoing investments in technology and innovation are crucial for maintaining a competitive edge in space. This includes developing new satellite systems, improving missile warning capabilities, and enhancing space surveillance. International partnerships. The USSF recognizes the importance of collaboration with allied nations to ensure collective security in space. Joint exercises and shared technologies are essential components of this strategy. Challenges ahead. The USSF faces several challenges as it continues to evolve. Budget constraints. As a new military branch, the Space Force must navigate resource allocation and funding challenges amidst broader defense budget pressures. Geopolitical tensions. The increasing militarization of space by other nations poses a significant challenge. The USSF must be prepared to respond to threats and protect U.S. interests in an increasingly contested domain. Cultural identity. Establishing a distinct identity and culture within the military can be challenging, particularly given the Space Force's recent establishment and its ties to the Air Force. Conclusion. The United States Space Force represents a critical evolution in national security strategy, recognizing the growing importance of space in modern warfare. As it continues to develop, the USSF must address various challenges while focusing on its core missions of space superiority, global operations, and assured access. The future of the USSF will play a pivotal role in shaping the U.S. military's effectiveness in the space domain and ensuring national security for years to come. United States Space Force, History, Present, and Future. Introduction. The United States Space Force USSF, established on December 20, 2019, is the first new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces since 1947. Its creation was driven by the recognition of space as a critical domain for national security, influenced significantly by advancements in military space capabilities by near-peer competitors like Russia and China. The Space Force's mission centers around securing American interests in space, ensuring freedom of operations for U.S. forces and allies, and maintaining a strategic advantage in this increasingly contested domain. Historical context. 1. Early developments in military space operations. The roots of the U.S. Space Force can be traced back to the aftermath of World War II, when the military began recognizing the strategic importance of space. The U.S. Army launched Explorer 1, America's first satellite, in 1958, marking the formal beginning of military space endeavors. The establishment of the Air Force Space Command in 1982 and the United States Space Command in 1985 reflected a growing commitment to space capabilities within the U.S. military. 2. The Cold War era. During the Cold War, space became a domain of competition between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, with both sides developing reconnaissance satellites and missile warning systems. The Gulf War in 1991 was a pivotal moment, often referred to as the First Space War, where U.S. forces relied heavily on space-based assets for communications, navigation, and intelligence. 3. Calls for a dedicated Space Force. Proposals for a separate space service date back to the Reagan administration's Strategic Defense Initiative in the 1980s, yet significant resistance from the Air Force delayed its establishment. Following a series of reports, including the 2001 Rumsfeld Commission and the 2008 Allard Commission, which highlighted the need for a unified space strategy, the momentum for a Space Force grew, particularly as adversaries expanded their military space capabilities in the 2010s. Establishment of the Space Force. In 2017, Congress began taking serious steps towards creating a Space Force, culminating in its establishment in 2019 as part of the National Defense Authorization Act. The creation of the USSF marks a significant shift in U.S. military strategy, reflecting the increasing recognition that space is a vital arena for national security. Current structure and functions. 1. Organizational structure. The Space Force operates under the Department of the Air Force alongside the U.S. Air Force. It is led by the Chief of Space Operations. The USSF consists of 3 primary field commands. Space Operations Command (SPOC), responsible for generating space warfighting capabilities. Space Systems Command (SSC), focuses on developing and acquiring space capabilities. Space Training and Readiness Command (STARCOM) handles training, education, and doctrine for space operations. 2. Personnel. Members of the Space Force are referred to as Guardians, a term that reflects their mission to protect U.S. interests in the space domain. The Space Force has rapidly expanded its personnel and capabilities, drawing from existing Air Force space units while also integrating new recruits. 3. Core missions. The USSF is tasked with ensuring space superiority, conducting global mission operations, and assuring space access. This includes defending against threats to U.S. space assets and ensuring that the U.S. can operate freely in space. Current challenges and developments. 1. Geopolitical landscape. The Space Force exists within a complex geopolitical environment where adversaries like Russia and China are actively developing and testing anti-satellite weapons and other counter-space capabilities. The growing reliance on space for military operations necessitates a robust strategy to deter aggression and protect critical infrastructure in space. 2. Technological advancements. The Space Force is focused on integrating advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and space-based sensors to enhance situational awareness and decision-making processes. Continuous investment in research and development is essential to maintain a technological edge over adversaries. 3. Collaboration with other agencies. The USSF collaborates closely with NASA and other governmental agencies to ensure a unified approach to space operations, leveraging civilian and military capabilities for mutual benefit. This partnership extends to international allies, strengthening cooperative efforts in space security. Future outlook. 1. Expansion and independence. While the Space Force currently operates under the Department of the Air Force, there are ongoing discussions about evolving into a fully independent military service in the future. This transition would require significant legislative and structural changes reflecting the growing importance of space in national security strategy. 2. Doctrine development. The Space Force is actively working on developing its unique doctrine, emphasizing the concepts of space power and the strategic role of space in modern warfare. Training and readiness initiatives are designed to build a culture that prioritizes innovation and adaptability in a fast-paced operational environment. 3. Space as a domain of conflict. The recognition that space is a domain of conflict necessitates a shift in military philosophy, with an emphasis on preparing for potential conflicts that originate or extend into space. The USSF is poised to play a critical role in shaping future military engagements, ensuring that the U.S. maintains its leadership in space. Conclusion. The establishment of the United States Space Force marks a pivotal moment in the evolution of U.S. military strategy, reflecting the increasing importance of space in national security. As the Space Force continues to develop its capabilities, address emerging challenges, and define its role within the wider military context, it will undoubtedly shape the future of warfare in an era where space is no longer a sanctuary but a contested domain. The ongoing efforts to integrate technology, enhance collaboration, and prepare for the complexities of space operations will be crucial as the Space Force seeks to fulfill its mission of protecting American interests in this vital arena. The United States Space Force USSF stands as a pivotal development in the context of modern military operations and national security, representing the first new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces since the establishment of the Air Force in 1947. Formed on December 20, 2019 through the National Defense Authorization Act, the Space Force's creation reflects a consensus regarding the strategic importance of space in national security and military operations, particularly in light of emerging threats from near-peer adversaries like Russia and China. Key content that may be overlooked. 1. Historical context of space military operations. Many reports focus on the establishment of the Space Force as a contemporary military response, but few emphasize its historical roots that date back to the Cold War and even World War II. The origins of U.S. military space capabilities can be traced through decades, from early rocket programs initiated by the Army and Navy post-World War II to the establishment of the Air Force Space Command in the 1980s. This extensive history is significant as it demonstrates that the U.S. military has long recognized the operational importance of space, and the Space Force is seen as a culmination of these efforts rather than a sudden innovation. 2. Evolution towards an independent service. The Space Force is currently operating under the Department of the Air Force with aspirations to evolve into a fully independent branch. This transitional status often gets glossed over, yet it carries implications for its organizational structure, budget allocation, and inter-service dynamics. The Space Force's quest for autonomy reflects broader strategic priorities, indicating that space capabilities are now considered essential to U.S. military operations akin to land, air, and maritime forces. Understanding this evolution is essential as it showcases the ongoing debate within the military and political spheres regarding the prioritization of space in national defense. 3. Challenges in cultural identity and public perception. The Space Force has faced significant public scrutiny and cultural challenges since its inception, often being subjected to jokes and comparisons to science fiction franchises. The adoption of the title Guardians for its members and its motto Semper Supra, always above, are attempts to forge a unique identity that resonates with the significance of their mission. However, the Space Force's struggle for recognition reflects broader societal attitudes towards military endeavors in space, which can impact recruitment funding and policy support. The cultural implications of establishing a new military branch in a domain previously associated with exploration rather than traditional warfare warrant deeper analysis. 4. Integration of national security and civilian space operations. The Space Force has a unique collaborative relationship with civilian space agencies like NASA and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA). These partnerships are crucial for developing capabilities in space situational awareness and planetary defense. The integration of military and civilian operations is significant because it highlights the dual-use nature of space technologies and the necessity for a comprehensive approach to national security that includes non-military entities. This collaboration also poses questions about the governance of space, the management of space traffic, and the implications for international treaties and agreements. 5. Technological advancements and modernization efforts. The Space Force is actively pursuing modernization initiatives that include advanced radar systems for tracking objects in space, the development of cislunar domain awareness technologies, and exploration into space-based solar power. These efforts often get overshadowed by the discussions surrounding military conflicts and strategic posturing. However, the technological advancements being pursued have the potential to redefine military logistics, operational capabilities, and the very nature of conflict in the space domain. The implications of these technologies extend beyond the military, potentially influencing civilian industries and global markets. 6. Budgetary considerations and resource allocation. The budgetary allocations for the Space Force are often discussed in terms of numbers, but the narrative around how these funds are prioritized, spent, and justified in the larger defense budget tends to be overlooked. The Space Force's budget is growing significantly, indicating a shift in resource allocation that reflects its increasing importance within the military framework. Understanding the budgetary dynamics is crucial for assessing the long-term viability and capabilities of the Space Force, as well as its impact on other branches of the military. Significance of overlooked content. The historical context, cultural identity, integration with civilian agencies, technological advancements, and budgetary considerations surrounding the U.S. Space Force provide a more comprehensive understanding of its role in national defense. These elements highlight that the Space Force is not merely a reaction to current geopolitical tensions but is part of a long-term strategic vision for U.S. military operations in space. Each aspect offers insights into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for U.S. defense policy, international relations, and the evolving nature of warfare. Moreover, acknowledging these factors can enhance public discourse around space militarization, national security, and the ethical implications of operations in the extraterrestrial domain. It is essential to consider these dimensions to fully grasp the complexities and future trajectory of the Space Force. as it seeks to secure U.S. interests in an increasingly contested space environment. Understanding these nuances will be critical as the Space Force advances its mission of ensuring freedom of operation in, from, and to space, and as global dynamics continue to shift in the years ahead. 1. Historical context and development. The establishment of the United States Space Force USSF on December 20, 2019 marked a transformative moment in military history, being the first new branch of the armed services since 1946. The USSF's origins trace back to post-World War II military initiatives gaining momentum during the Cold War as the U.S. recognized the strategic importance of space. Key historical milestones, from the launch of the first U.S. satellite in 1958 to the operational integration of space capabilities in the Gulf War, highlight the evolving role of space in national defense. The growing threats posed by nations like Russia and China have further solidified the need for a dedicated military focus on space, leading to the USSF's creation. 2. Core missions and organizational structure. The USSF operates with a clear mission to secure American interests in space, which encompasses three core functions: space superiority, global mission operations, and assured space access. The organizational structure includes several components such as Space Operations Command, Space Systems Command, and the recently established Space Training and Readiness Command. This architecture allows the USSF to effectively train, equip, and deploy personnel while ensuring operational readiness across various space domains. The members of the USSF are referred to as Guardians, reflecting the service's commitment to protecting U.S. interests in space. 3. Technological advancements and modernization. As the USSF continues to evolve, it emphasizes modernization and the integration of advanced technologies to enhance its operational capabilities. Initiatives such as the development of space-based solar power systems and enhanced satellite capabilities highlight the USSF's forward-looking approach. The emphasis on innovation not only addresses current challenges but also prepares the force for future conflicts in an increasingly contested space environment. The USSF's modernization efforts are critical for maintaining U.S. strategic advantages and ensuring the resilience of its space capabilities against emerging threats. For future outlook and strategic importance, the USSF's future is poised for significant growth as it seeks to transition to a fully independent military department separate from the Department of the Air Force. This move is anticipated to enhance focus on space operations and funding. The USSF aims to consolidate space operations from various military branches, underscoring the importance of unified command in addressing the complexities of modern warfare in space. Furthermore, as international competition in space intensifies, the USSF's role will be crucial in maintaining U.S. dominance and ensuring the security of both national and allied interests in the space domain. The ongoing geopolitical dynamics emphasize the need for a robust and agile space force capable of responding to multifaceted challenges. In summary, the establishment and development of the USSF signify a pivotal shift in military strategy, reflecting the increasing recognition of space as a vital domain for national security. The USSF's historical context, core missions, technological advancements, and future outlook collectively underscore its importance in contemporary and future military operations. Here are three famous historical cases that bear similarities to the establishment and evolution of the United States Space Force. 1. Formation of the United States Air Force USAF. The United States Air Force was established as an independent branch of the U.S. Armed Forces on September 18, 1947, following World War II. Prior to its formation, aerial warfare and aviation capabilities were managed under the United States Army. The growing recognition of air power's significance during the war led to calls for a separate air service. The establishment of the USAF marked a pivotal moment in military history, emphasizing the importance of air superiority in modern warfare. Similar to the Space Force, the USAF was created in response to evolving military needs and threats, highlighting the necessity for dedicated resources and strategic focus in a specific domain of warfare. 2. Establishment of the Royal Air Force RAF. The Royal Air Force was formed in the United Kingdom on April 1, 1918 during World War I as the first independent air force in the world. The RAF emerged from the Royal Flying Corps and the Royal Naval Air Service, reflecting the growing importance of air power in military strategy. The establishment of the RAF was driven by the need for a unified command over air operations and the recognition of aviation's critical role in modern warfare. The creation of the RAF set a precedent for the establishment of air forces around the globe, including the USAF, and illustrates how advancements in technology and warfare necessitate the creation of specialized military branches. 3. Creation of the Navy's Space and Naval Warfare Systems Command SPOR. Established in 1967. SPOR was created to address the growing need for naval capabilities in space and electronic warfare during the Cold War. As naval operations increasingly relied on space-based systems for communication, navigation, and reconnaissance, SPOR was tasked with integrating these technologies into the Navy's operations. This establishment reflects a recognition of the importance of space in naval warfare, similar to the formation of the United States Space Force in response to contemporary threats and the need for strategic space capabilities. The evolution of SPOR demonstrates how military branches adapt to technological advancements and emerging threats in the operational environment, paralleling the motivations behind the Space Force's creation. Future outlook for the United States Space Force. The United States Space Force USSF, established on December 20, 2019, has rapidly evolved since its inception. As the first new military branch in over 70 years, it has been tasked with securing the nation's interests in space amid rising global threats. Looking ahead, the USSF is poised for significant developments across various dimensions, including technology, international relations, and organizational structure. 1. Technological advancements. The USSF will likely continue to prioritize the development and deployment of advanced technologies to maintain space superiority. This includes space-based systems. The USSF is expected to expand its satellite constellation to enhance capabilities in communication, navigation, and reconnaissance. Programs like the Space-Based Infrared System SPIRS and the Global Positioning System GPS will see upgrades to ensure resilience against adversarial threats, especially from nations like Russia and China. Cislunar operations. With NASA's Artemis program aiming for a sustainable presence on the Moon, the USSF will enhance its focus on cislunar space. Developing capabilities for monitoring and securing operations between Earth and the Moon will be critical. The Oracle spacecraft, designed to track objects in this area, exemplifies this shift. Space debris management. As the number of satellites increases, so does the risk of collisions and space debris. The USSF is likely to invest in technologies for tracking and managing space debris to ensure the safety and sustainability of space operations. 2. Strategic partnerships and alliances. The future of the USSF will also be shaped by its relationships with other nations and organizations. International collaborations. The USSF is expected to strengthen partnerships with allies, enhancing joint operations and collective security frameworks. This could involve sharing technology, intelligence, and operational capabilities, particularly with NATO and other spacefaring nations. Commercial partnerships. As the commercial space sector grows, the USSF will likely foster relationships with private companies to leverage innovations and reduce costs. Initiatives like the National Security Space Launch (NSSL) program will facilitate collaboration with commercial launch providers. Planetary defense. The USSF may play a more prominent role in planetary defense, working alongside NASA and other international agencies to track near-Earth objects and mitigate potential threats. 3. Organizational evolution. As the USSF matures, its organizational structure will evolve to meet new challenges. Independent Department of the Space Force. Discussions around establishing a fully independent Department of the Space Force could gain momentum. This would grant the USSF greater autonomy in budgeting operations and strategies similar to other branches of the military. Integration of Army and Navy space capabilities. the USSF is likely to continue integrating space capabilities from the Army and Navy, centralizing operations and ensuring unified command over military space assets. This integration will enhance operational efficiency and effectiveness. Training and development. The Space Training and Readiness Command STARCOM is expected to play a crucial role in preparing personnel for evolving space warfare environments. Training programs will need to adapt to new technologies and tactics, ensuring that Guardians are equipped to handle complex scenarios. 4. Geopolitical landscape. The geopolitical context in which the USSF operates will significantly influence its future. Increased competition. As nations like China and Russia enhance their military capabilities in space, the USSF will need to develop countermeasures and strategies to deter aggression. This could involve expanding offensive capabilities such as anti-satellite systems to ensure deterrence. Space as a domain of conflict. The recognition of space as a potential theater of conflict will lead the USSF to prepare for various scenarios, including electronic warfare and cyber threats. Developing robust cyber defense mechanisms will be critical to protect space assets. Legislative support. The USSF will require sustained legislative support to secure funding and resources for its initiatives. Advocacy for space-related legislation will be essential in shaping the future of space operations. Conclusion. The future of the United States Space Force is poised for dynamic growth and transformation. As it navigates technological advancements, international collaborations, and an evolving organizational structure, the USSF will play a pivotal role in securing the United States' interests in an increasingly contested space domain. With a focus on innovation, partnerships, and strategic readiness, the USSF aims to maintain its position as a leader in space operations, safeguarding national security and advancing space exploration objectives.